What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to episode 8 of the Monday Morning Quarterback Show. Following a Thursday night football win for my New England Patriots over the New York Jets. We'll get into all that stuff later, but this episode is just going to be recapping that game and, of course, our Week 11 pick'em. As always, I'm joined by my co-host, Sean Olheim, Buffalo Banter. Not too sure why it's not showing our usernames. Normally does. That's kind of weird, but we'll figure that out as we get going here. But
Where
Sean,
did
how
that
you
go?
doing?
I have no idea where that went.
We're not very good. Yeah, I don't know.
We're just messing everything up. It's okay. I'm doing good, bro. We got we got quite the amount of good games this week, so I'm excited. Big games. You got the Bills Bucks, you got the Seahawks Rams. A lot of fun games this week. I'm excited, so should be a fun week in the NFL. Started
Late
off
night
tonight with
hours.
a horrible performance from the Jets, as we expected, but we'll dive into that.
Yeah, so like Sean said, week 11 pick 'em as always. And that usually takes up a good amount of time. And we're gonna quickly not gloss over because Pats are 9-2, but we're definitely gonna talk about the
No, we're gonna gloss over it.
Okay. Just wait till we get to the Bills Bucks game. But we're gonna talk about the Pats Jets game tonight. And just kind of what we saw there. By the way, guys, I'm sure you guys noticed. I'm now in my third different setting. I'm back at home, but I'm in the basement this time. Because I also have a family, but nonetheless, we wanted to get a podcast in for you guys, like all seriousness, and we have a blast doing them. Like I always say. Before we get into the Thursday Night Football recap, make sure to subscribe to Monday Morning Quarterback Show for more football content weekly. It's going to be going on for the rest of the season. Draft talk, you name it. This is what me and Sean want to do. We're having a blast doing it. And make sure to go follow Sean's socials. It's not showing right now, unfortunately, at Buffalo Banter on X or Twitter and TikTok, as well as me on Twitter and TikTok as well. But Sean, I can tell you're still trying to figure out that because I'm not too sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess we're just gonna we'll get right into it, Sean. The Pats Jets Thursday Night Football recap. The game just wrapped up a little over an hour ago. The Pats handle business at home. That's pretty much all I can really say. Beating an inferior team 27-14. Sean, I'll let you give your overall thoughts on it so I can kind of dive a little bit deeper into like advanced stuff. But just from watching the game, what are your overall thoughts from the game?
I think tonight solidified the fact that Justin Fields is the worst quarterback in the NFL. If that wasn't already clear enough. However, I think the Patriots, I mean, it's just, this is a game they needed to take care of business and they just did it. I mean, not much really to it. Fields 15 for 26 in the air for 116 yards and a touchdown. Just honestly better than most of his games that we've seen, but still not great. Of all things, I don't think the Patriots did a great job at containing him on the ground. Had 11 carries for 67 yards and a touchdown with a long of 14. And then Breece Hall, obviously 14 yards of 58 carries. And Patriots with back-to-back weeks of 50-yard rushes. So I guess their run defense has kind of fallen off. But all jokes aside, I think they have the worst receiving core in the NFL. I mean, John Mechie was their leading receiver of all people. Like, it's just absolutely brutal. Drake May did his thing, but Trayvon Henderson, the story of tonight for the Patriots offense. I mean, not even that explosive on the ground, but in terms of getting in the end zone, he got the job done. Matt talked about it yesterday, I think, on the show that, today was going to be kind of a Diggs game, and he was right. I mean, Diggs had 9 catches for 105 yards. Definitely May's top guy. Matt Collins had 4 catches for 64 yards. I love seeing that as a Mac being a former Bill.
Could have had more, unfortunately, but
yeah. Brandon Stevens, one good play of his career, had a pass breakup on a really nice throw. But yeah, just Patriots took care of business in the game that they needed to, and got the job done and moved to 9-2.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm really, it's bugging me that our names aren't showing up here, but yeah, that's besides the point. Just to the game real quick. I guess I'll just start with the Jets. Their running attack was, I was a little worried about it coming into the game. Breece Hall was okay. No really huge chunk plays. I think he averaged maybe 4 or 5 a carry. Um, yeah, he didn't have like a great game, but the biggest story for the Jets was Justin Fields escaping the pocket is a complete nightmare because what is what is happening right now? Not a good start, but all seriousness, Justin Fields, he doesn't throw the ball past 5 yards, and he did. And the 2 times he did was a bad throw to Adonai Mitchell and a horrible drop by Adonai Mitchell. One of the worst debuts of a receiver I've seen in a long time, especially for a young, talented player like him. That they were hoping to get in return for Sauce, obviously, is one of the parts of that trade. Justin Fields does not push the ball down the field. This offense is so vanilla. It's run first, and when Justin Fields escapes the pocket, let me tell you, it is frustrating as hell because their receivers get zero separation. I don't think Gonzalez or Carlton Davis let up one catch. I don't think Gonzalez gave up a single one. I mean, obviously, you got to take competition into account, but like when you have cover corners like that, that's not your main worry. The problem is when you're sending blitzes and they're not getting home and Justin Fields escapes, he's got 10, 15 yards of running room. And it's really annoying, especially when the Jets were kind of hanging around in this game for a little bit. And I was texting Sean during it. I was never worried that the Pats weren't going to lose just because, again, the Jets are just such an inferior team. They're they have zero explosive elements on that offense at all. It was just kind of frustrating that the Pats are shooting themselves in the foot, whether it was a Travion Henderson, Andy Borregales missed field goal, a couple penalties that they didn't need to take, a kind of a poor end of first half handled, operation by the Patriots. They didn't really handle the clock well. They almost handled it like they were playing against like this explosive offense and they didn't want to give them the ball back. It's like, Braves, we're playing against the Jets. I promise you, if you pin them inside their own 10 with 50 seconds left, they're not driving down, especially on how your defense has been playing. But nonetheless, Drake May, he had like 2 incompletions in the first half. I think he started off the game 10 for 10. He was money. He was great for the whole game. Like again, it just Drake, daily Drake May, weekly Drake May, elite performance. Diggs' Sean touchdown was great, but again, the ball was spread out. Hunter Henry had a really nice game. Matt Collins, another really good game. He could have had a bigger one. Brandon Stevens had that nice pass breakup on that absolute dime by May, by the way. It won't show up in the box score. What a throw. Pop Douglas came up with some huge plays as well. And then, of course, Travion Henderson, not super, super efficient on the ground, but, in the red zone, scoring when it matters, catching one in the end zone, 3 touchdowns. That's now 5 touchdowns in his last 3 games. His last 2 games, I'm sorry. And, getting everyone incorporated. I wasn't thrilled with the pass rush. I thought they were going to get home a lot more tonight. You got to finally Christian Barmore got a sack for God's sakes, and Elijah Ponder 2 games in a row with a sack. Justin Fields' pocket awareness is pretty brutal. For a guy that can't escape the pocket and is that fast, he does not read the field well, and he doesn't really read the pocket well either. The Ponder sack was borderline embarrassing. Just he literally stood there when he had a clear running lane. And I want to say one more thing on the Jets real quick. They are such an undisciplined football team because they had some moments where they were kind of holding us. Then they get a illegal contact, a holding. Jarvis Brownlee had a brutal game. He had a couple penalties. Pop Douglas caught a play on 3rd and 10, and he fell to the ground, but Brownlee didn't touch him. So Pop got like 10 yards after that play. Brandon Stevens was horrible. Their secondary is completely depleted. Besides that breakup that Brandon Stevens had, that of course everyone will see on highlights, he was getting cooked on that. Matt Collins was gapingly wide open on a couple plays that it was Brandon Stevens' assignment. And the Jets, skill position wise, without Garrett Wilson, it's really, really bad. So they definitely have a long way to go. I thought they showed some promise tonight. In some areas, just some fight. But again, it's a young team trying to prove people, they kind of get some fire under their belt. They want to play spoilers against a hot team like the Patriots. But the Pats, 8 in a row, wasn't the prettiest, but, you won by 13. You'll take that any day of the week. Your quarterback played great. Thursday Night Football, we all see what happens on Thursday Night Football. It's a complete 50-50 pretty much. The Pats handle business. They're 9-2. And they hold the best record in football. I know they're a couple of games ahead of some teams, but heading into their little mini bye here, which they really need because they're really banged up at this point right now. Milton Williams left the game hurt. But heading into this mini bye, the Pats are 9-2. And if you told me that going into week 12, the Pats would be this, this hot. And I would definitely wouldn't believe you, but the Pats are 9-2, Jets fall to 2-8, and just two teams heading in completely different directions.
Yeah, I mean, I think you pretty much covered all of it. Pats took care of business in a game they should have, and obviously now have the best record in the NFL with at 9-2.
Yeah, no, the Jets. Yeah, the Jets 5 first-round picks in the next 2 years. I don't know if they'll finally get their QB though, because I've seen a couple things. Jets fans don't even want to tank anymore because it's like they've gone through this and we've seen what's happened. I think you just kind of want to finish out the year playing hard football, showing that you care and you're not a complete joke. I think they kind of did that tonight. They didn't get blown out like a lot of people thought they would. I mean, I know 13 points is a pretty significant win, but um, going into Foxborough, it's a tough game, especially with the uniforms, which are so clean, by the way. Um, Hopefully the Jets can find their quarterback. Justin Fields, like Sean said, not the guy. And we'll see what happens in the draft this year. But we're gonna move in to our week 11 pick'em for this coming Sunday. We have a great slate of games coming up this weekend. I'm really excited. I could just sit back, relax, and just watch football, not have to stress about the Patriots. Sean is in the complete opposite situation as me, unfortunately, because this might be the biggest game the Bills have had in a couple of years. Sean, you can correct me if I'm wrong. It's a really, really big game, but we'll get into that. I want to wait till we get there because I'm really excited to hear Sean's opinion on that game. We'll start off with the Madrid game. We got the Commanders not at the Dolphins, but Commanders Dolphins. I think going into this game, looking at it before the season started, you're like, okay, Commanders, that's a win. Completely different now. Sean, let you take it from here.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I have the Dolphins taking this one. Like you said, going into this season, we were doing record predictions or schedule predictions. I have Commanders circling the win here every single day of the week, but they just have so many guys injured, and the way that they're playing just as a whole right now, I can't bet on them. You got the Dolphins here. They're favored by, I believe, they're favored by 2.5. 9:30 game in Madrid. Matt, I'm gonna be honest. Love these 9:30 games. You literally get football from 9:30 till 11 p.m. at night. It's absolutely incredible. Yes. But yeah, I have the Dolphins taking this one. I think their defense showed a lot more fight and promise against the Bills last week, and I could see it doing even better this week against the Commanders offense that just doesn't look like the same at all without McLaurin and Daniels. And then on the Dolphins side of things, on the Dolphins offensive side of things, I could see Jalen Waddle going for like 150 this game. I'm going to be honest, bro. The Commanders coverage, their pass coverage has been horrible recently. I could see another huge A-chain game as well. I think the Dolphins could put up like 30 points again. This could be, again, one of those random games where Tua just has like one of his insane games and just I guess looks like that one year where he led the league in passing yards. Been a little bit more inconsistent this year, but I could see this being one of those games against a Commanders defense that's not been good. It's super old. It's super banged up. They're missing guys because of suspension now too. Yep. They've lost 5 straight at this point. I don't know if it's 6 straight. It's at least 5.
No, it's 5. Yeah,
it's 5 straight. Yeah, and then Miami obviously coming off a good win against Buffalo. Hopefully, they're not on a Bills win hangover, but if they play like they did against Buffalo, they should wipe the floor with the Commanders in this game.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm also going to take Miami here. Number one, we all know this. I don't need to say it. Commanders are the most banged up team in football. Number two, I think this is a sneaky big opportunity for Mike McDaniel to keep proving that maybe he could stick around in Miami next year, or at the very least be a very good offensive coordinator in this league. But I think you saw a lot of fight, like you said, against the Bills. It's a culture win. I think that's a good culture win for the Dolphins. Just as a team, as a whole, this Commanders team is so banged up. They're pretty much playing with the practice squad out there. Mariota is going to be out there again. They just have so many good players out. And like you said, their defense is so old and their secondary is straight up garbage. So I agree. I think Jalen Waddle could have a huge game. And I think this is pretty interesting. Devon Achane's projected. I know we don't really care about fantasy that much when we're talking about this, but projected 27 points in fantasy is like maybe the most I've ever seen to be quite honest with you. Um, but that's definitely a good stat to throw out there for sure. That just kind of proves how how little faith ESPN and Vegas and everyone has on this Washington Commanders defense. But I'm definitely taking the Dolphins. Not definitely because it's the Dolphins, and if they lost this game, I wouldn't be like whoa. But again, I think Miami will win this game. Um, get on a little winning streak, show some fight, and especially after the Bills. I think the only way they don't win this game, like you said, is if because again, I could see a team like Miami coming off a win against Buffalo, a little too cocky, a little too, high on life, just after a win like that. And, this could be an upset opportunity for the Commanders, but both teams are not really playing for playoff spots, so it's kind of just for pride at this point. But I think the Dolphins are going to take this one, as crazy as it is to say. Give me Miami and Madrid. On to the next game. We have the Bengals visiting the Pittsburgh Steelers. Pittsburgh opens up as 5.5 favorites. This might be the biggest game of the season for Pittsburgh, as Baltimore is slowly but surely creeping up on them. Not slowly anymore. They are creeping up on them. Only a game behind. Like I said, Pittsburgh's opened up as 5.5-point favorites. Sean, who you got?
I hate this pick because I don't like how they're playing whatsoever. But I'm going to take the Steelers at home, and it is strictly because of how bad the Bengals defense is.
It's a valid reason.
Like the Steelers, I don't think their offense has been playing great. I could see this being like a get back game for them where they put up like 25-30.
Mm-hmm.
If the Steelers can somehow find a way to hold the Bengals to under 30 points, I think they can win the 25-30 points. I think they can win this game. I don't know. I really don't like this pick at all. And I'm sure
Ugly game.
I'm sure you're going to agree with me. Like just either way you go here, it's not going to feel right.
No.
It's also the AFC North. You never know what's going to happen, but I still think the Steelers are the better overall team. Bengals have the worst pass run or the worst run defense in the NFL, or worst run defense in the NFL, third worst pass defense in the NFL.
They have the worst defense in the NFL.
Defense as a whole is the worst in the NFL, but the Steelers' offense is ranked bottom 5 in the NFL too. So, I guess you never know, but I could see this. DK Metcalf is obviously very hit or miss. I could see this being a hit game for him, just having a couple receptions that are big plays for them. I don't know. I hate this pick, but I'm going to take the Steelers just because I do think that they're a better overall team.
Yeah, I'm also taking Pittsburgh solely because of how poorly the Bengals are coached on the defensive side of the football and just how bad they are defensively in general. It's not even just coaching; it's literally everything, the whole operation. Picking Pittsburgh in a football game right now just doesn't feel right because they are trending down. They look old. DK Metcalf, I've been very vocal about this. That signing does not look good. They do not incorporate him at all. It's all tight ends. They don't really have a run game. Their defense looks old as well. Rodgers, he's slowly looking like the season's catching up to him, and he looks old. But how could you pick the Bengals right now with how bad their defense is? I just don't think you could pick the Bengals in a football game. And Joe Burrow ain't saving this team because it's not a Joe Burrow issue. Joe Flacco is doing pretty much everything you can at the quarterback position. I mean, he's been pretty good. He's even questionable coming into this game, by the way. So if Jake Browning's starting, that's a different story. But Joe Flacco will always give the Bengals a chance on offense, and he feeds the ball to Chase, and that's really all you got to do at the end of the day, target him. But picking Pittsburgh, like you said, Sean, it doesn't feel great. But I think you kind of have to at home. Huge game for the division, and they can continue to have that lead over Baltimore, even if the Ravens do win this week. But I'm definitely going with the Pittsburgh Steelers over this just disastrous Bengals team.
I honestly think too, like the only way that Cincinnati really wins this game is I don't really see a Steelers game turning into this, but if this game somehow turns into a shootout, I think the Bengals outshoot the Steelers just because their offense is more explosive. But if the Steelers can find any way to slow down their offense whatsoever, I think they should win this game.
Yeah, I think their pass rush could have a pretty good game against Joe Flacco too. But me and Sean both have the Steelers. Next game up, the Los Angeles Chargers are visiting the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Chargers open up as 2.5-point favorites. Another really weird game that I'm not really too sure where to go, but I am going to pick one team, but I'll let Sean start here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna go with the better team here. I like the Chargers more.
Yep.
I don't like what the Jaguars are really doing right now. I don't think Trevor Lawrence is playing very well. Um,
No.
I mean, they just blew a 19-point lead in the fourth quarter to Davis Mills.
Yes, to
So
answer that question, I am. I think
yes,
Sean is.
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, they just blew a fourth quarter lead to Davis Mills. I don't know what Justin Herbert's gonna do against them.
Nope.
I think he's gonna have a solid game. The only way that I think they could really struggle is if the Jags are able to get good pass rush on him, just with the loss of both of their offensive tackles. But I mean, I like the way the Chargers are playing a lot more right now. I think the Jaguars, they looked solid in the beginning of the year, but I kind of had them on fraud watch from the beginning, just
Yeah.
with how they started. I don't again, Trevor Lawrence, another one of those guys that feels like he has the same stat line every week, like 180 yards and an interception and like a rushing touchdown randomly.
I have
So
on fraud watch because of the quarterback.
yeah, no doubt. So yeah, I got the Chargers. I think they're the better team. I don't have any reason to pick against them, especially against the Jags.
Yeah, and I understand the Chargers are obviously banged up, without, that, Joe Alt, Rashawn Slater, with Mekhi Becton banged up. Their whole line is trashed, but they had a big win last week. They're quietly 7-3 right now. And Jacksonville is trending down. Travis Hunter's out for the year. Brian Thomas is hurt. Trevor Lawrence isn't good to be straight. He's just not good. And I'm taking the much better quarterback here. Give me the Chargers. The defense has also been great. Jesse Minter's doing an unbelievable job there. And for Jacksonville, their defense was kind of like, it was hot at the beginning of the year. It's kind of fallen off now. They let Davis Mills score 34 points on them last week. Just a complete disaster. And one of their touchdowns was a punt return touchdown by Parker Washington. Trevor Lawrence, so mediocre. Again, 13 completed passes. Another pick, weekly Trevor Lawrence pick. And I don't love the receivers he's throwing to either, which doesn't help. And I know they're home. It's a pretty big spot for Jacksonville, but just give me the Chargers. I think they're the better team. I think they're better coached on defense. I think I'm trusting the quarterback better. I don't really care how banged up they are. I'm taking Jim Harbaugh and the Chargers to beat Jacksonville because if I haven't made it clear enough to you guys that truly do follow our podcast, I'm very low on Trevor Lawrence. So give me the Chargers over the Jaguars. Here's the doozy. The 6-3 Tampa Bay Buccaneers visit the 6-3 Buffalo Bills. Buffalo opens up as 5.5-point favorites, which I think is a little ridiculous right now, considering how they're playing. But every game at Highmark, always a tough one. I'll let Sean. Sean, do you want me to start with this one, or do you want to take it?
I'll let you start.
So, I think it's obviously a massive bounce back opportunity for both teams. I think the Bills, we could agree, had the much worse loss than Tampa Bay last week, but I'm pretty 50-50 on this game right now. I think it's a much bigger spot for Buffalo because let's be honest here, the Bucs are winning their division. Even if they lose this game, it doesn't matter. Nobody's catching up to them in that division. And with Buffalo, if you lose this game, and I'm not trying to jump to conclusions here, but if you do lose this game, you're all of a sudden you're 6-4, and the Pats pretty much at that point have the division locked up. And second of all, you're kind of looking at yourself like, are we even going to make the wild card at this point just because of how tight the AFC is? I'm not saying it's obviously over there, but it's a really big spot for Buffalo here. I'm going to take the Bills at home. Just following losses, the Bills are just so scary, especially back at home. I do think this is going to be one of the games of the year. I think this could be like a 40-38 games or something like that. The Bills defense, again, poor. I think Baker could have a really good game. I don't believe Bucky Irving's playing this weekend again.
It's questionable.
But yeah, I mean, if Bucky Irving's in, that could be tough, Sean. That could be really tough. But right now, I'm going to take the Bills in a bounce back, and I'm not just taking this because Sean's here, because Sean knows I'd be honest. But I'm taking Josh Allen here.
Yeah, you took the Chiefs.
I think I think Josh and Sean McDermott. I think Sean McDermott especially knows I might be coaching for my job this year. This is a huge, huge, huge game just to swing the season back around, and especially with the Pats now being 9-2. I mean, the division chances are pretty slim at this point. But if you want any chance at maybe winning the division, giving it to that, make that Pats Bills game, maybe a game to win the division. This is a must-win game for you guys. And I'm very worried about the defense against this Bucs offense, but give me Josh Allen and a bounce back.
Yeah. First off, I just want to acknowledge I love Baker Mayfield, and Matt knows that. He's such a good quarterback as the underdog. Which is why I'm a little bit scary. I'm a little bit scared for this game because he's an absolute dog. I love the guy. He's so competitive. I love the way that he plays. Um, Again, I agree with Matt. I think this is going to be a shootout. Um, I think the Bills offense gets back on track this week. They seem to elevate their game in these big games. They looked a lot better against the Chiefs, where they put up 28 against a very good Chiefs defense. Week 1, they obviously put up over 40 against the Ravens. A little bit different because it was a comeback scenario, but I don't know. I'm going to take the Bills just because it's at home. It's a comeback spot, but I don't know. It's going to be a tough game just because um I think Baker Mayfield's gonna have a huge game. I think it's gonna be tough for them if they don't have Bucky Irving because their run game won't be as strong, obviously. But they got a decent running back room by committee and Sean Tucker and Rashad White. Honestly, I think if the Bills can shut down Igbuka, then they're gonna be in a lot better hands in terms of passing defense. But I don't know if the Bucks are gonna be able to slow down Josh Allen enough to really outduel him. It's always tough to go into Highmark and win a game, obviously. But like I mentioned, Baker Mayfield as an underdog going to be super challenging for the Bills to get a win, especially the way Baker's playing. I mean, he's been an MVP candidate all year. Just looking at his stats, he has 16 touchdowns and 2 picks. I mean, he's been an absolute freak this year. I do think that the spread for this game is a little bit high at 5.5. I would honestly bum it down to 2.5 in the Bills' favor, just because they're at home. But I truly do think these teams are so even. The Bucks are 4-1 on the road. The Bills are 4-1 on the road. Chris Godwin's unlikely to play. Bucky Irving's unlikely to play. Antoine Winfield is even questionable, which if he's gone too, that'd be a huge loss for their secondary as well. So Kincaid, obviously a huge loss for the Bills. AJ Epinesa is questionable. I'm expecting him to play. Same with Cam Lewis. Khalil Shakir, questionable, expecting him to play as well. The Bills, however, are getting a lot healthier in terms of the injury report. I mean, Dalton Kincaid was the only guy that did not practice this week, or not this week, today. Other than that, just a few guys limited, but the Bills are getting healthy. Their defense is getting a lot healthier. They're getting guys like Benford and Taron Johnson back next week, which maybe that's not even really a great thing. I think Cam Lewis played a lot better at the nickel spot this past week, but yeah, I'm going to take the Bills at home. I honestly think the Bucks cover the spread of 5.5. I think that's a really large spread, but I'll take the Bills at home, especially coming off a loss in a big game.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely a big spot for both teams, but it's bigger for the Bills because the Bucks are winning their division. Their division is so poor, and they're probably going to be the 4 seed like they are every single season. It feels like, but I will say though, Sean, I definitely am a little bit worried if I'm a Bills fan here because it's a huge, huge spot. Like this is one of the biggest games the Bills have had in a long time. Like I said, but I trust Josh Allen in moments like this. I think you guys have Nance and Romo on the call there. So big game here for the Bucks and the Bills. On to the next game. The Bears visit the Vikings. The Vikings open up as 2.5-point favorites in Minnesota. Sean, who you got here?
This is a toss-up of a game, man. This could go either way. We saw the Vikings come back against them earlier in the season where JJ McCarthy played one of his only good quarters of football so far this year.
Yep.
Um, I'm going to take the Bears. I think they take another stride with that offense and Ben Johnson. I think they might struggle. I think Caleb Williams might struggle a little bit with just the blitzes that Brian Flores schemes up against him. But um, I think that Ben Johnson's going to have them ready for that. At least I hope. I mean, obviously a very good offensive line. But on the other side, I don't like what I'm seeing out of JJ McCarthy. I think he's trying to do too much for what he is as a quarterback.
Yep.
Like we've talked about it before, he needs to be more of a game manager for the Vikings.
Yep.
And he's trying to play like these higher end quarterbacks and be Superman, like Allen and Mahomes and all these other guys. Like he needs to know his role. He needs to understand that he has maybe the best wide receiver duo in the NFL and just get the ball to them, get the ball in their hands, get them in space. Obviously, they have great play calling with Kevin O'Connell, so he obviously has the right system. But JJ McCarthy just needs to be smarter, a little bit more efficient in the air too. He's been not efficient as a passer, so I'll take the Bears. I just think they're better progressed on offense. This could be a get right game from McCarthy against a bad Bears defense. This could be a game where he kind of finds his stride, but I just think the Bears are in a better spot here.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna take the Vikings here. Not that I mean, I've obviously liked what I've seen more from the Bears, but um, I think this is gonna be a tough game for Caleb Williams, a loud Minnesota crowd, probably the biggest game of the season for them as well, with Brian Flores back there. Um, I don't think JJ McCarthy's gonna play great. He's not incorporating their best player on offense. I mean, Jefferson's having a solid year statistically still, but we all know Justin Jefferson is way more than this. I mean, I understand he's still getting targets. Also, another sneaky thing about the Vikings, Van Ginkel and Grenard have been not themselves this year, to say the least. They've been pretty quiet. Their leading sack guy, their leader in sacks so far is Jalen Redmond, who I mean, all due respect, he's a good player by any means, but he's an interior defensive lineman. You're expecting more, especially out of a Brian Flores defense, from your 2-star edge rushers, and they've been pretty quiet to start the season. But I think this Bears defense is pretty terrible. And I don't like the Vikings. I don't like what I've been seeing from the Vikings at all either. And if the Bears win this game, would it surprise me? No. But I think the Vikings, I think this is where you see some immaturity from as a whole from the Bears from a coaching standpoint and from a player standpoint against a guy like Brian Flores and against a well-coached team in Kevin O'Connell's Vikings. I know they've had their struggles this year, but it's a huge game for Minnesota just to stay afloat in the playoff race because you put yourself in a tough spot. I'm not saying JJ McCarthy's going to light the world on fire, but I think he could have a solid game, especially against this Bear secondary, which it's a get right game for pretty much anyone that plays against them. Caleb again just hasn't been super accurate. Haven't really loved that part of his game necessarily. I can't wait for. I mean, I'm hoping the day that we start to see him consistently complete like 65 to 70% of his passes. But again, last week 20 at 36, kind of like just stat lines we see like that a lot out of Caleb. But I'm taking the Vikings in this game. And like I said, I think we see some immaturity out of the Chicago Bears in Minnesota. On to the next game. The 4-5 Texans take on the 1-8 Titans. Don't really need to talk about this one too. We don't really ever need to talk about games against the Titans because they're just a terrible football team. But for Houston, big game because sneaky, you're 5-5 all of a sudden. You're not going to win your division, but you're right there in the wild card race. And you're getting healthy. Stroud isn't playing again this game, by the way, just to clarify. That's why they're not favored by as much as I thought they'd be. But their defense is going to give Cam Ward fits. It's going to be bad. They might not score 10 points. Titans I was talking to Sean the other night. The Titans have 11 touchdowns this year in total, like 11 as a team. There's players in the NFL that have more than 11, and running back named Jonathan Taylor, but the receiving core is trash. Their offensive line's horrible. Cam Ward he's doing what he can with that team, but again, I haven't really loved what I've seen out of Cam Ward necessarily. The Texans got some spark from got a spark from Woody Marks last week. He's looked pretty solid from the run game. Nico Collins had his best week with Davis Mills last week. Daniil Hunter had, I think, 3.5 sacks last game, so he's starting to find his footing. the Texans are going to beat the Titans. They're going to Cam Ward this might be his worst game of the year against Houston's defense. And even with Davis Mills, the Texans should easily handle business here.
Yeah, I have a bold prediction.
What's that?
I believe the Titans get shut out this game. I don't think I genuinely don't see a world where Cam Ward is able to do a single thing against this Texans defense. I mean, you mix the pressure with their run defense, with their coverage. I mean, the Titans are not going to be able to do a single thing against them. Cam Ward has struggled to score points against any team in the NFL, and now he's playing probably the best defense in the NFL. Like, this is going to be an ugly game. I could see the Texans winning this game by like 20 strictly because the Titans don't score any points, and the Texans are just going to, I mean, it's not like the Titans defense is that good anyways. So I just see the Texans scoring at will, kind of, even with Davis Mills at quarterback. He kind of gave him a little bit of a spark last week. But yeah, I think it's the Texans. I think it's probably like a 15 to 20 point win because the Titans will not score.
It's a good prediction from Sean there. Yeah, the Texans defense is awesome. They didn't play great last week, but again, special teams touchdowns. Been saying it. Titans are just a dumpster fire. They have a long ways to go, and we'll get into kind of obviously like the mock drafts and stuff, or just the positioning in a couple weeks, because we're kind of already hitting that point in the season where draft positioning matters. As a Patriots fan, where it's mattered the past couple of years, we're entering familiar territory for me. Obviously, we're not there anymore, but me and Sean will definitely get into that. But on to the next game. The 5-5 Panthers visit the 3-6 Falcons. I kind of have a hot take for this game as well, too. Falcons open up as 3.5-point favorites. I think this is going to be one of the games where the Falcons just randomly play really good, especially after their 30-point loss last week. I think the Falcons are going to beat the Panthers by like 20 plus this game. Bryce Young, super underwhelming season. Again, just very boring, vanilla, underwhelming yards, just not really doing much. And against a Falcons defense, which surprisingly has been really, really good. Their edge rushers are great. Their two young edge rushers are great. Their secondary is damn near elite with AJ Terrell and Jesse Bates. But give me the Falcons in this game by a good amount. I think this is – I understand the Falcons are 3-6, long shot. You kind of got to win out pretty much at this point. I think the Falcons – I think Bijan Robinson has a pretty big game. I know the Panthers defense has been better, but I think their defense is going to get Bryce Young fits. I think Bijan Robinson's going to have a huge game. I think Drake London could have another big game. I know J.C. Horn's great, but it doesn't really matter who Drake London's matched up with lately. So I'm taking the Falcons in this game by 15, 20 plus against the Panthers at home. I think Michael Penix could have a decent game, although I haven't loved what I've seen out of him at all by any means. But give me the Falcons in this game.
Yeah, I agree with Matt here. Just kind of building on talking about the Falcons defense. Bryce Young hasn't thrown for over 200 yards. He's thrown for 300 yards once this season. That's the only time he's gone over 200 yards this whole year. And last time he faced the Falcons, I understand they won 30-0, but he was 16 for 24 in the air with 121 yards, didn't throw for a single touchdown.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't him. I think the Falcons are going to for their sake, hopefully figure out what they did wrong that game and kind of fix that, because you shouldn't be giving up 30 points to the Panthers where Bryce Young doesn't throw for a single touchdown and throws for 124 yards. Nope. But just being at home, I think the Falcons, find their game again. They'll move to 4-6. I don't think Bryce Young's really going to do that much again this game. The Falcons I still think they're averaging the least amount of passing yards against per game. Mm-hmm. So I, again, just think they're going to give Bryce Young fits. And if the Falcons can just do anything but not shoot themselves in the foot, they should win this game.
It's so frustrating watching a team like Atlanta just throw talent away, because they're such a talented team. Like on paper, they have so many fun, good players on their team. I think it's a lot of it has to do with coaching. I think they got a clean staff after this year. I mean, my opinions on Zach Robinson and Raheem Morris. Just they're not very high. I think they're a very poor coach team with a lot of talent that has a direction, but at the same time, Michael Penix, I don't know if that dude's the answer, Sean. He's I don't think Michael Penix is ever going to be more than an average quarterback. And so far, he's probably been bottom 10 this season, just overall. Um, very vanilla for Michael Penix. I think the Falcons are only averaging like 17 points a game, or were a couple like 2 weeks ago. Their offense is just so up and down. Again, they're a pretty good home team considering, all the circumstances, but I'm taking the Falcons in this one for sure. Next game up, I think this game would have been more interesting if Jackson Dart was healthy. You got the struggling Packers visiting the Giants at 2-8. And the Packers are favored by 7.5. Sean, I'll let you start with this one.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a get right game for the Packers. They're on the road, but I think they're too good of a team to continue these struggles. The Giants are kind of on the low right now. Dart is hurt. He's not playing this game. They just lost their head coach.
Hey,
I don't know.
They can get the interim boost.
Sure, bro. I mean, I guess maybe. We've seen Jameis Winston have random games in the past where he throws for 400 yards and like 5 touchdowns. I don't really see that happening against the Packers defense. I think the Packers defense is way too good to allow that to happen, especially just given the fact that the Giants, like all their weapons are just not that good. I don't think they're good enough for Winston to have one of those games. I think the Packers are going to give him a lot of troubles. And I think the Packers get back on track. Hopefully they can find their stride on offense because it's been piss poor lately, to say the least. But yeah, I think this is a get right game for the Packers. I'll take them in this one.
Yeah, the Packers have 20 points in their past 2 games against the Panthers and Eagles. Yeah, the Giants, you described it perfectly. Jameis, I mean, I want to say he could have like a random good game, but I don't think he will against this Packers defense. I think Micah Parsons has a really good game against this Giants offensive line. Not too many worries on the weapon side of things for the Giants. The Packers need to win this game sneaky, and they need to win convincingly, especially after losing to the Panthers and then playing like crap against the Eagles on prime time. A lot of people are down on them at this current moment. Rightfully so. By the way, I'm not taking away from it, but the Packers need to win this game. Matt LaFleur needs to win this game, and I don't know. I'm not liking the vibes over in Green Bay right now, Sean. I think people are starting to fall off on the Packers train, which, I mean, again, like I said, rightfully so. They're not playing good football. But again, they're going to the Giants. They're going to New York with literally a team that just lost everything. Dart, Dable, Scatabo, Neighbors. Like, they're just completely depleted. I think the Packers do handle this one in MetLife. Now here we enter some maybe the game of the week. No, not maybe. This is the game of the week. We get the Seahawks visiting the Los Angeles Rams. Rams open up as 3.5-point favorites. What a game, Sean.
This is a tough one. And I can't believe these two teams are in the same division just because of how good they are. Yep. It's going to be quite the fight seeing who ends up at the top of this division to end the year. With that being said, I'm going to take the Rams. We talked about it yesterday in our power rankings. They are the best team in the NFL right now. Their offense is firing on all cylinders. I don't see any signs of them stopping whatsoever. I know the Seahawks defense has been very, very good this year, but I don't know. Can they stop Puka? Can they stop Devontae Adams? Can they stop Kyron Williams? Stafford's the hottest quarterback in the NFL right now. He hasn't thrown a pick in 5 weeks with like 21 passing touchdowns. Like he's just been an absolute freak this year. He's aging like fine wine. On the other side of things, I do think it could get interesting. We talked about the Rams secondary kind of being, maybe the weakest point on the team at the current moment. And with that being said, I think this could be a huge spot for JSN, especially if it turns into a game where the Seahawks, if they fall behind, they need to climb back, or if it just turns into a shootout of a game, I think JSN could have a huge game as well. But I just think the Rams are playing too good of football right now. I can't pick against them. I know the Seahawks are playing great, but again, just can't pick against the Rams right now. I just love the way that they're playing.
I mean, I think the Seahawks are playing just as good as the Rams. I think I just trust the Rams a little bit more in a game like this, just because the experience. I'm also going to take the Rams again. It doesn't feel great, but the Rams are so damn good. Um, and I think Stafford is due for kind of a regression game a little bit. He's not going to throw for 4 touchdowns and have a perfect pass rating like he has past 3 games, especially against the Seahawks defense led by Mike McDonald. Um, this is going to be such a good game, though. I can't wait to watch this game. Just two teams firing on all cylinders. I think Sam Darnold is going to have a good game against the Rams secondary, but at the same time, I think the Seahawks offensive line could struggle against this Rams pass rush, like we talked about last episode. They're so good. And with Stafford, I think the Seahawks defense is really good, especially the secondary. But you can't really eliminate Puka from a game. You can probably limit Devontae at this point, but Puka Nakua, no matter what's going to do his thing. Same thing on the other side with JSN. Um, but I am taking the Rams. It's going to be such a good game. I think this game's actually going to come down to coaching. I think this is a really good question right here. You think the Rams have a better offense than the Lions when both teams are firing on all cylinders? It's really, really close. I think I'm actually going to take the Lions by a smidge because I think they have a little bit. If everything's firing, I think their run game is a little bit better, especially with Gibbs. But back to the Rams game real quick. Yeah, give me the Rams. It's going to be such a good game. This game could determine the NFC West, I think, just because that one game could really mean everything. Again, I know these teams see each other later on in the season, but this is definitely going to be a big confidence boost for one of these teams. And it's going to be maybe one of the games of the year. Two hot, amazing teams going at it, but give me the Rams to handle business at home.
Another thing I wanted to add, and I don't know if it's going to hold true this year, but we've seen Darnold fold in the past in these huge spotlight games.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess the question is, will he fold in the game like this, or is he going to turn it around in games where he has a lot of pressure on him?
Yeah, it definitely is a good question. I will say the one thing is, I understand it's a home game for the Rams, but there's probably going to be more Seahawks fans there, let's be honest here.
Yeah.
So my ESPN's glitching, unfortunately, right now, which is great. But yeah, give me the Rams. Such a good game. Before we move on to the next game on our slate, make sure to subscribe to the Monday Morning Quarterback Show for more football content. Like I said, me and Sean dropping videos consistently. We're in college, but we're having a great time doing this, like I said. And we want to keep doing this for you guys. And would appreciate if you guys just, dropped us a subscription and followed us on TikTok. Also followed our personal accounts. It would mean the world to us because, again, we love doing this stuff for you. And it's only going up from here. So thank you guys for that. But back to the pick'em. On to the next game. Got the Niners at the Cardinals. Niners open up as 2.5-point favorites. Brock Purdy is back for this game. The Niners, I understand they're banged up, Sean. They are still a 6-4 team. They're hanging right around that last playoff spot. If they win this game, the Bears lose. I believe they take that spot from the Bears. I'm going to go with the Niners in this game. Just give me the coaching. Give me Purdy. They got Kittle. They got McCaffrey. I'm not really too sure why the spread's like that low. I'd favor them by a little bit more, but I guess the Cardinals defense actually takeaway last week. It was horrible. Their defense has been pretty good. Their young players have been showing out, but give me Brock Purdy. Give me Kyle Shanahan. I understand it's Brock Purdy's first week back, so could have some rust at the beginning of the game, but I just don't really trust this Cardinals team. I think Jacoby Brissett could come back down to earth at some point. Like last week was already a sign of it. Again, he didn't really ever have a chance in that game, but give me Robert Saleh and Kyle Shanahan to beat the Cardinals. I think they could drop a good offensive game plan, especially with Purdy coming back and Christian McCaffrey just being basically a wide receiver for this football team, not even really a running back. And I just think they have more star power on offense. So give me the 49ers in Arizona. And great point. No Marvin Harrison. Forgot to add that. Another, reason just for me to take the Niners.
Yeah, I mean, how could you pick the Cardinals here? I don't care if they're at home. It's the Niners are just, even with all their injuries, they're still a far more superior team. I do agree. I think Purdy could be a little bit rusty coming off injury, but I think it's going to bring a lot of confidence back to their offense, just having their guy back. Mac Jones has been great filling in for him, but you get your guy Purdy back. The offense pretty much fully healthy. I mean, you got Pearsall coming back too, I believe, this week.
Yeah, I think so.
Pearsall's coming back. You got Kittle, you got McCaffrey, you got all your weapons back. This is a 6-4 team. I think they could start to get confident and start to get rolling again. I do agree. I think that spread's a little bit low at 2.5, but
Yeah.
um,
I guess it's just because Purdy's first game back, maybe.
and they're on the road. I guess not that that's really a huge advantage in Arizona, but
There'll be a lot of Niners fans there.
yeah, you can't pick Jacoby Brissett and a Jacoby Brissett led offense without Marvin Harrison Jr. especially against the Niners team that has a fully healthy offense.
Yeah, they're also just I think a much better coach team than the Cardinals as well. On to the next game. Got the Ravens traveling to Cleveland. Kind of gloss over this one, I think. I'm taking the Ravens easily here. The Browns just lost to the Jets. The Ravens are heating up defensively and obviously offensively with Lamar, and they're going to just get that much closer to the playoffs, unfortunately, and this is a perfect opportunity for them to gain another step because Cleveland is just friggin' awful. Dylan Gabriel still the quarterback for some reason. I'm not saying Shador would be this world savior, but you might as well see what you got in him. I mean, I don't really know if what Kevin Stefanski's doing. You're not making the playoffs. Might as well try. Just see what you got in house before you maybe go and draft a quarterback next year again. But yeah, give me Baltimore easily. I don't really think it's that much of a question, and they're favored by 7.5.
Yeah, I'm taking Baltimore and kind of without question. I agree with the Browns. I do think that, assuming barring some sort of miracle out of Gabriel this week, I think they should at least see what they have, like you said, with Sanders. I do think that at the end of the day, he does bring a higher ceiling than Gabriel, but obviously they drafted him higher, so they were kind of forced to give him a chance. But I mean, Lamar looking like as good as ever. 15 touchdowns and only 1 interception so far. Earlier on when they played in the year, they did slow down Derrick Henry, at least in comparison to what the Bills did to him in week 1, where they let him absolutely stomp all over them. But even if Derrick Henry is slowed down this game, I still think the Ravens offense is better than the Browns defense. And
the Browns defense is really good, though. I will say, because the Jets had 2 special teams touchdowns last week too.
No doubt, but at the end of the day, the Ravens are just a better team. They're getting hot at the right time. The Browns are obviously on the downfall yet again. So it'll be the Ravens.
Josh Allen has I think like 7 playoff wins. Lamar I think has like 2 or 3. I could be wrong, but on to another one. Nothing. Just letting you know, nothing has come of either of those. But
shut up.
It's SHAWN. But I may have asked Sean's question, but yeah. But on to the next game. The Chiefs are traveling to Denver to take on the Broncos. Chiefs are favored by 3.5. Really big game for the Chiefs. Not as big of a game for Denver, but I think if Denver wins this game, the division's locked up. Obviously, but I'm taking the Chiefs in this game. It's the last opportunity for me to truly believe in the same, again, quarterback. Bo Nix stinks. Just keep it a buck. He's not good. But everything else on this Broncos team is good. They're going to give Mahomes problems. I know they still don't have Surtain. I haven't seen anything that he's returning this week. But, yeah, give me the Chiefs. Give me Andy Reid to, win a statement game. This is a huge game for the Chiefs. They really need to win this game. Because I understand we keep automatically plugging them into the playoffs, but if you lose this game, you're 5-5. It's like you're in a tough spot. But yeah, I think the Chiefs are definitely winning this football game. Would it surprise me if Denver wins? No, but I mean a little bit because just it's Mahomes. But I think I don't really know. I think this could be like a 28-21 Chiefs win. And like I said, not high on Bo Nix at all. He could struggle in this game. It looks like Sean is waiting to say something right now, but go ahead.
Give me the hot take. Give me the Broncos in this game, baby. They're at home. They are 5-0 at home. I think the Chiefs are going to struggle against their defense. I may just be a Chiefs hater, but I don't know. I like the Broncos here. They're hot at home, man. They're 8-2. They're feeling good. I understand none of their wins have really looked great, but um, I don't know. I don't have much of an explanation here. I just have a feeling.
Yeah,
I think
but
the
games
Broncos.
like that happens though. So
It's a divisional game, man. It's going to be close. I think the Broncos defense is going to give them problems. I don't know, especially if Sertan does come back, especially I like them, but I don't know, man. I'm getting a feeling Broncos at home. I'm going to take the Broncos. I may look like an idiot on Sunday, but I hope
we
I'm right.
gotta make takes like that sometimes, you know. And I mean, like I said, it could happen. The Broncos are a better, I think, overall team than the Chiefs. It's just the quarterback difference is completely night and day. But I'm taking Mahomes in a big spot. Definitely give me the definitely give me the give me the Chiefs in this game. On to the second last game of the week on the slate. Um, the Lions travel to Philly to take on the Eagles. This is a great, great week of football, by the way. Just reading it over again. Wow, what a game. Um, Sean, you could start with this one.
Ah, man. What a game we have here. This is going to be a fun one. Um,
Maybe.
well, I hope. Anything could be
I'm,
better than
I'm
the
done
past
saying
two.
games are gonna be fun because every time I've said it, it hasn't been. So
Um, I know they're listed as underdogs here. I'm gonna take the Lions. I think that their offense is just so much more explosive than the Eagles. Um, I know the Eagles are coming off a very good defensive game, but I think Goff is gonna be really hot this game. I think they get the run game going. I don't know. I think the Lions offense is going to really give the Eagles defense problems. I could be wrong. Goff has struggled in situations like this before. We saw his game last year against the Texans where he threw 5 picks, which was just
yep.
absolutely brutal. But
Still won that game, by the way.
right. But on the other side of things, I don't like what the Eagles are doing on offense whatsoever. I don't know if they're going to be able to keep up with the firepower that the Lions have on offense. This is my prediction is strictly based off um the expectation that the Lions are playing at the top of their game on offense, because if not, it's going to be obviously a very challenging game for them. But I don't think the Eagles are going to be able to keep up with them on the offensive side of the ball. They're not using AJ Brown enough. Their run game has not been explosive enough. Their offensive line has not been good enough. Um, so based off just my expectation that the Lions offense is playing very good, I'm going to take them in this game.
So I'm kind of 50-50 on this one because if this game turns into like a defensive struggle, the Eagles are winning this game because if Jared Goff starts struggling, I trust the Eagles more in a game like that. But if it turns into more of a shootout, the Lions are going to win this game. Their offense is more explosive than the Eagles, so it all depends on what I think is truly going to happen. I'm going to take the Lions in this game. I think the Eagles, their defense was amazing against Green Bay last week. I think they're kind of due for a letdown opportunity, especially against a Lions offense, this explosive. And again, if the Eagles win this game, would I be surprised? Absolutely not. Like I said, if it turns into a defensive struggle, they are 100% winning this game. They're better coached. They have a better defense overall. I trust them more in games like that. But I think the Lions are due for not due because they have, they've had they've had games like this. But I think the Lions are in for another, big game, especially prime time. I think they're gonna have one of those games in prime time where people are reminded of how damn good this Lions offense is when they're clicking on all cylinders, whether it's with Gibbs, Montgomery, Amon-Ra, J-Mo, Laporta, literally any of those guys. And Goff's been the most accurate passer, one of the most accurate passers in football this year. Give me the Lions offense over the Eagles defense. That's pretty much how I'm taking it right now because the Eagles offense, like you said, Sean, it's very vanilla. Unfortunately. Can AJ Brown do anything? What's wrong with him in your guys' opinion? I think it's a mix of both things. I think AJ Brown's he's not completely checked out, but he's definitely not putting in the same effort that you've seen in years past. And I think it's also just an offensive, problem. I don't think their offense is meant for a guy like AJ Brown. They're a very slow developing offense. Jalen Hurts checks down a lot. He loves hitting Goddard. And I told Sean this last episode. They need to just hit AJ Brown first play of the game on like a quick slant, just get his confidence up. Pats did it with Diggs against the Bills and against his former team. Just to hit him right away, first play of the game. The play was drawn up for him. I don't see a reason why the Eagles can't do that. He's obviously talented enough to do that. He's one of the most talented players in the league. So the Eagles need to drop a play, get the ball to AJ Brown, and figure out how this offense can be more explosive other than when it's in Devontae Smith's hands. Because as we stand right now, the offensive line hasn't been bad by any means, but they're not getting the same pushes last year. And Saquon Barkley has obviously not had the same success as he has in years prior. But I also have the Lions. On to the last game of the week. Complete snooze fest. Another just terrible Monday night game. The Cowboys travel to Vegas to play against the Raiders. I'm just going to take the Cowboys just because I think they're going to be able to outscore the Raiders. Whether, how bad the Cowboys defense is, I don't really care. They got Quinn and Williams. I think he could have a good game on that Raiders interior line. Their interior line is not good. And yeah, the Cowboys, I mean, if they want any chance of doing anything, it's a huge game for them. They cannot lose this game. Not that they're going to either way because their hopes are very slim at this point, but they made some trades. We'll see if those guys can make an immediate impact, and especially against the Raiders, with just a very, very poor defense. Geno Smith's turnover problems. He's looked better recently, but last week against the Broncos was a disaster. And if the Raiders' offense looks anything like it did last week, the Cowboys are going to kill them because their offense, when it's clicking with CD and Pickens and Javonte, is just too powerful. They're too good of a unit. Give me the Cowboys to take down Pete Carroll's Raiders on Monday Night Football.
Yeah, I agree. I'm taking the Packers, the Cowboys as well.
It's hard to, by the way, it's hard to pick either of these teams to win a game right now, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of touched on it for the most part. I'm taking the Cowboys strictly because I just think their offense is better. Yeah. But I mean, outside of the offense, like it feels like neither teams are good on. I mean, I don't think the Raiders are good on either side of the ball, and the Cowboys obviously are not good on the defensive side of the ball. So I think that their offense is going to be the only thing going for anything in this game. And obviously, if their offense is clicking, it's one of the best in the league. So, there's no reason to pick the Raiders in this game. I think that the Cowboys offense is just going to pretty much outscore them, especially if the Raiders wide receiver one being Trey Tucker. I mean, can you really pick that offense over the Cowboys?
They need to get the ball to Brock Bowers, dude.
Yeah, but I don't know. Just feels like it should be a game the Cowboys win. It's just with how bad the Raiders are.
Just to answer this question real quick, goofier looking, it's Mark Davis. Goofier owner, it's Jerry Jones, just because obviously guy doesn't announce trades when they happen. Whole bunch of crap going on over there. But yeah, me and Sean both have the Cowboys in this game. Don't feel good about it by any means, because would it shock me if the Raiders win? No, because it's the Cowboys. But that is going to do it here for episode 8 of the Monday Morning Quarterback Show. Make sure if you guys are tuning into this, whether it was live, thank you, Joey, for being here live, just asking us questions. And if you guys ever want to tune in live, me and Sean do go live around 3 times a week, and we do post on our TikTok stories prior to it, just to let you guys know. And we're trying to find a cleaner schedule. Once we both get on Christmas break from college, it'll be a lot easier to do. It's just hard with school and all that right now. But like I said, make sure to drop a sub to our YouTube just to support both of us. And we're going to keep pumping out content for you guys, like I always say, on TikTok and on here. And Sean will on his personal TikTok as well as mine. And we can't thank you guys enough for, just showing the amount of support you guys have this early. Like I said, me and Sean, we had no idea it was going to be this much. So we can't thank you guys enough. It's been awesome. And we're going to keep pumping out content for you guys. And we'll see what happens this weekend. Don't feel too confident on some of my picks. I think Sean can probably, say the same, but we will see what happens, and we will see you guys Sunday night to recap week 11 of the NFL season. Thanks, guys.